What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post-game recap for today's 1-0 huge win for the Mariners over the New York Yankees. Before I get started, as always, hit the sub button if you're new. Hit the like button. Helps me out a lot. Just gets, as I always say, gets the video out to more people. So thank you again to everybody that does that. Truly appreciate it. Yes, my attire, I don't have the Mariners hat on. I'm actually not a UW fan, but you got to rep something Seattle when I'm doing these videos. And my shirt is Stanford, so I'm like it's a Pac-12 shirt hat day. So just ignore that. But let's get into the game. Not going to really go over the box score. There just wasn't much in terms of the offense, but what a game for George Kirby. 8 shutout innings, not only to bounce back from last outing against Pittsburgh where he struggled. I wonder if the balls were juiced that game because him and Mitch Keller both struggled. So I do wonder a little bit about that. But not only to have that bounce back, but that's what aces do. That's what they do. When you need that big pitched game, that well-pitched game, after what we saw in the last 2 games, Bryce Miller struggled, Logan Gilbert struggled, and the Yankees just put on an offensive clinic, scoring 20 runs in the first 2 games. And George Kirby comes out and dominates. That's what aces do. They're stoppers. When you need that big game, they go out there and they get it. How many times did we see Felix do it for years? Or go back to Randy when he used to do it. Now, unfortunately for Felix, he just wasn't surrounded by enough talent. But you needed that W. You turned to Felix. Didn't matter what team, what lineup. He went out there and he would dominate and just will that team to a W. And that was George Kirby today. Tough game. This pitching staff has been beaten up by the Yankees in the first 2 games. And George Kirby comes out and just shuts them down. That is, not only was it just a great start in general, take away all the extra stuff that I'm talking about, but to do that and to be that stopper. And a big win, a game the Mariners needed. They win it to go to 29-27. 29-27 versus 28-28. 7-3 homestand versus 6-4. Getting swept going into a day off versus having a walk-off win going into a day off. That is such a different feel. Such a different feel. Had they dropped to 500, this was going to be kind of a rough post-game recap. I was going to start to say we're in a little bit of, not panic, but we got to wonder a little bit because now they're going to Texas. They could drop back below 500 very quickly. But then they win today. You're back to 2 games over. Texas lost, so you gain a game on them. Gain a game. Yes, I said that correctly. So you feel pretty good now. It's amazing how that can happen. And George Kirby was the main reason for that. Shame he couldn't get the W. Schmidt was very good for the Yankees as well. Don't want to take away. And you can't have it both ways. It's true. Like, we can't sit there and go, oh, Kirby was amazing and dominated, and then go, Schmidt stinks and the Mariners didn't do anything against him. You're going to give your pitcher credit. You got to give the other guy credit too. That doesn't mean you can't be frustrated with the Mariners offense, as Yankee fans are allowed to be frustrated with their offense today. But you can't give one credit and then, take away from another. So great outing for George Kirby. Great job by Paul Sewald in the 9th. And how about Justin Topa in the 10th inning? What a job by him. J.P. Crawford makes that error, which is such a shame. I'm glad they got out of that for J.P.'s sake. J.P. had that amazing play in the 7th, which kept the game at 0-0. And at that point, any play you make could have been the difference. That gets through. The Yankees might win that game 1-0. That might have been enough for them. And JP made that play. Has the error in the 10th inning. I think it was, who was it that was up? Was it LeMahieu? And JP actually would have gotten the out at 3rd. They would have gotten the lead runner. And I think that's where the bobble happened. I think he tried to get it out quickly to 3rd. Ended up making the error, put runners at 1st and 3rd with nobody out. I forgot who popped up. Let me just take a sip of water here. Somebody popped up. Good analysis. Somebody popped up. Why can't I think of who popped up for the Yankees? Was it Higashioka? I don't remember. I guess it doesn't really matter who popped up. And then they got Bowers walked, so you had the bases loaded with 1 out, and then Volpe ground out. Nice play by Gino to get the out at home. And then Franchy Cordero came up. Cordero, if you remember, hit that grand slam for the Red Sox last year off the Mariners and extra innings off Munoz. that won the game. So he's got pop. You got to be careful. Got it to a 3-2 count and a perfect fastball inside, right on the edge. Not sure if it was a strike, and you never know if it's a strike with CB Buckner behind home plate either. And it got the swing on Cordero. So great pitch there by Topa to get out of the 10th. And then great job by Cal Raleigh. Just end it. You know, we've seen so many times these extra inning games, and the Mariners just can't seem to get the runner over or get him in. And Cal Raleigh just right away scores Caballero with, I think it goes down as a single. It would have been a double in any other situation. And the Mariners walk it off. A one-run win. So now 7-12 in one-run games. I talked about that many times. The Mariners at one point were 4-12 in one-run games. They had the worst record in baseball in one-run games. Worse than the Oakland Athletics in one-run games. And I've had people tell me, no, it's not bad luck. They're just not playing well. That's part of it. It is. It's never all one thing. So I was never trying to say it was all bad luck. But there is bad luck involved in that. If you're worse than the A's in one-run games, there's some bad luck there. Unless you think the A's are just better at one-run games than the Mariners. And if you do think that, tell me why. Like, let me know why. Isn't our bullpen better? No, their bullpen ERA is like 10. When you play close games, it can come down to a lot of little things. It's not always luck. Better teams should have better records in one-run games. But, even tonight, it's, Frenchie Cordero takes that pitch maybe sometimes, and the Yankees get a run. And then, Cal strikes. You know what I mean? There's just little things that happen in those games. The Mariners have been great in one-run games the last 2 years. It doesn't mean it was all luck, but they definitely had a little bit of good luck. This year, they've just kind of gone the other way. That doesn't mean that the Mariners are the best team in baseball. They're just getting hosed. It just means that there's probably a couple bounces that haven't gone their way, and they're starting to get those now. They've won their last 3 one-run games. They're starting to win extra inning games. Even though the Pirates game wasn't a one-run win, it was kind of, in that sense, the same type game. So they're starting to get back to winning these games. Starting to see the tide turn. I don't need this team to be 42-22 in one-run games, but they should be 500. There's no reason they can't be 500 in those games. And if you can get it back to that, some of the wins will start coming. So that was good to see. Yeah, just an all-around really nice win. And not so much like the game itself. We could get frustrated at the offense. We can be frustrated that Ty France double looked like it hit the chalk and should have been fair, and then Julio would have scored him. I can sit here and yell about Colton Wong again, who it may just be time to DFA him. I hate it because I want Colton Wong to succeed, but it's just that bunt was so bad in the 8th inning or 9th inning, whatever it was. It was almost like Wong was like, I'm not going to do anything here. Let me just get this done with bunt and out. But this win is important because they just needed it. They did. They needed to win this game. Was it a must win? No, I'm not going to put a game on May 31st as must win. But man, it would have left a sour taste on this homestand. Even though it would have been a 6-4 homestand, you would have left it 500, lost 3 in a row. You'd feel a little like, yeah, it was a solid homestand, but now we're back to 500 with a tough road trip. You get the win. You get the 7-3 homestand, which is what the number I pointed to at the beginning was. I wanted 7-3. Now I wanted it. I said win 3 out of 4 against the A's and 2 out of 3 and 2 out of 3. Whatever. They swept the A's and they lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. So what? It's still 7-3. So I'm happy. Like, that's what I wanted in this homestand, and they delivered it. They delivered that homestand. Like I said, they go into a day off now feeling good. You get that W under your belt. Was this series a success for the Mariners? No. I saw someone on Twitter say, like, well, even if they win this game, this was still a bad series for the Mariners against a good team. And yeah, they didn't play well this series. The Yankees pounded them. And then the one game the Mariners win, it's by 1 run. I mean, they were outscored by 11 runs in this series. Mariners could have easily been swept here. But we're still kind of at that point where there's no pictures on the scorecard. You ever heard that analogy in golf? Like, just get the par, say par. Doesn't matter how you did it sometimes. This game didn't matter how they did it. They needed it. They needed that win. Was the series great? No, of course not. I'm not going to sit here and say they played a good series. They didn't. But they did salvage a win. And it's nice to salvage it in the last game, too. So you get into the day off now feeling pretty good about yourselves. Like I said, my tone changed. I had kind of it was going to be a little gloomy of a post-game recap had they lost. Because it just would have felt like everything they did in this homestand, and now they're just back to 500. What we didn't want to see happen. So they get the win. This was a huge win. It was. I talked about it yesterday that they really felt like a game they needed to get, and they did. That's all I've got. I'm exhausted. I'm going to get to bed. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. Fun second walk-off in the homestand. Starting to get some of that magic back from last year. Let's see the Mariners go to Texas. You got Luis Castillo on the mound game one. Find a way to get 2 out of 3. It'll be Castillo, Marco, and Bryce Miller. Tough road trip. Tough road trip. Texas, San Diego, and the Angels. It is a 3, 2, 5, 8-game road trip. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You're going to go, I'm okay with 4-4 on this road trip. I am. These are 3 decent teams. I know the Padres aren't playing great, but we know they're better than their record. The Angels are always tough with Trout and Ohtani, and Texas has been really good. Go 4-4 on this trip. Start breaking even with these good teams. They're beating the bad teams. You got to start breaking even with the good ones. I'm okay with a 4-4 road trip. I'd love 5-3, 6-2. I'm not saying I'm not rooting for more, but I am okay with 4-4. Now, we will get to a point eventually where if the Mariners don't make up some ground, they're going to have a 6-2, 7-3 road trip or something like that. But right now, I am okay with 4-4. Get to that month of June, just you're hanging in, you're in that race and see what happens from there. I will see everybody, I will see everybody tomorrow. Me and Rooftop Mariner will be, I don't know if it's going to be a live stream or just a video, just going to be talking about where the team's at, assessing their progress so far, and I will be back Friday night with the post-game recap. I hope everybody has a great Wednesday night, and I will see you guys later. Go M's. Peace.